Hey, what's going on, guys? You to be here, back with another video, and Happy New Year to everybody. It is 2013. I haven't made a video since last year. Ha ha ha. It was only like 2 days ago. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, and why I think it is still actually quite a good card. A lot of people seem to have forgotten about it, but it was re-released in the Legendary Collection, as you can see there, which is pretty nice. The first thing I'm going to say about this card is that a lot of people are immediately going to compare it to Raigeki Break, and what I want to point out is that it is pretty much nothing like that card. It's used for completely different purposes. Raigeki Break is just kind of a general purpose problem solver, but Phoenix Wing Wind Blast is for decks that are maybe that run a little bit slower and that like to stall out, or as in the case that I'm going to argue now, have a lot of cards spare in their hand which they can easily discard. And that pretty much points to the suitability of the card. It is a -1, so if you don't have a lot of cards in your hand and you're not playing against a deck where it's kind of beneficial to you to return a card to the top of your opponent's deck, or to the extra deck, as in the case of XYZs and Synchros and stuff like that, then I probably wouldn't try out Phoenix Wing Wind Blast at all. However, in decks with large hand sizes, such as Mermails, Heraldic Dragons, Chaos Rounds on occasion, Lightborns on occasion, just any deck that likes to +1 a lot and draw stuff and search a lot of cards and have a lot of cards in their hand, and also decks that don't need to use up their hand too often, decks that have kind of one card power plays like Tour Guides, Rescue Rabbits, and other things like that, then this card might be a useful tech against decks that go to a lot of trouble to get one monster on the field, for example. And the reason I'm talking about Raigeki Break is basically because of Billy Break's usage of the card in his Mermail deck in a regional recently. So he used 2 copies of Raigeki Break, and he claimed that because of the extra Jennings controllers in his hand that he searched up with Jennings Undine, and there are plenty of comparable examples in the TCG to this, just cards that you search up that you generally don't really use for a while. He was able to discard the controllers and to blow up one of the opponent's cards. But I think returning a card to the top of the deck in some instances, not in all instances, it certainly isn't generally applicable, is actually a better move than to just destroy the card, because the graveyard is so accessible in Yu-Gi-Oh! Nowadays that returning a card to the top of the deck just delays your opponent a turn, allows you to swarm, etc. And sadly, the best decks to use it against are actually the best decks to use it in as well. So, using it against a Mermail deck, for example, if they discard 2 monsters to special summon this Megalo, you return the Megalo to the top of their deck, they are going to be extremely annoyed because the Megalo is going to be left in their hand. They'll have already discarded the water monsters. Sure, they have searched for the Abyss Sphere and all that stuff, but it won't really make a difference to them because they want to establish field presence and they want to get the Megalo in the field. The same thing goes for the likes of Rescue Rabbit decks. So they go into Elzar Dalka or something, or they summon a Dino and they're trying to make an XYZ. You return the Dino to the top of their deck. That's the only, like, their normal summon is gone. It's the only play that they had, and they're just left with some other level 4 monster in the field that they can't really do much with. And they know that they're going to draw dead into another dinosaur next turn, and not into the likes of, say, a Rescue Rabbit or a Tour Guide. I also hear people comparing this card to Compulsory Evacuation Device. Of course, Compulsory Evacuation Device isn't a -1 if you return an XYZ monster or something like that, because you're removing a monster from the field and you're only using up 1 card. However, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, no matter what way you look at it, is a -1. But what I would say about this card is that it is somewhat better, because you are actually preventing your opponent from drawing into new options for 1 turn. People don't seem to realize that if you use it on anything other than an XYZ or a Synchro, you're returning a card that the opponent has already drawn and has already kind of placed on the field or whatever to the top of their deck, and they're not going to draw into any new cards. It seems like an obvious thing to say, but that is what I feel somewhat places it above Compulsory Evacuation Device in certain instances. Okay guys, that is it for the video. I hope you all had a good New Year's. Be sure to comment, rate, and subscribe as always, and let me know what you think of Phoenix Wing Wind Blast and how it compares to the likes of Compulsory Evacuation Device and Raigeki Break. Would you run it in your own decks? If so, why? And if not, why not? I personally think that it's overlooked simply because nobody runs it. Billy Break, the innovator, is always the one who comes up with these ideas, and it was his innovation and his decision to run Raigeki Breaks that led me to Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. So I'm going to test it out on 1 copy. I don't know about you guys, in my Mermail deck, see how it runs. I'm also going to up my Jennings controllers to 3, so we'll see how that works out. Anyway guys, talk to you guys later. Peace out.